Something doesn't add up with A&P. How does a grocery giant with 16,000 stores just vanish? It beat Congress, survived the Great Depression, and fed millions, then collapsed. What went so wrong? Was it bad leadership, blind spots, or something no one saw coming? Why did shoppers leave, and why didn't anyone stop the fall? Well, to know all about this, stay tuned till the end. In the 1800s, George Gilman was just a leather businessman in Manhattan. But after his father died in 1859, he took his inheritance and made a strange move. He left leather behind and started selling tea and coffee. He launched something called the Great American Tea Company. At first, he just sold tea to other shops, but by 1861, he decided to go straight to customers. In 1863, he opened 5 small stores in New York City. People loved the quality and the prices, but his secret? He didn't rely on anyone else. He roasted, blended, and packaged everything himself, keeping costs low and quality high. His coffee team checked every single bag before it went out. Then, things got bigger. A&P started sending tea and coffee by mail to people far away, even gold miners out west. When the Transcontinental Railroad was finished in 1869, it helped Gilman reach customers all over the country. He joined forces with George Huntington Hartford and renamed the company to something bigger. The Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company, or A&P, inspired by the railway's coast-to-coast reach. They didn't stop there. A&P began selling tea in packages, not loose like others did. And in 1871, they gave away free glassware and prints with purchases, which made shoppers keep coming back. By 1876, they had 11 stores and were changing the way people bought groceries. They used catalogs, direct sales, and smart offers, laying the foundation for what stores do today. Fast forward to the 1920s, and A&P was huge. In 1925, they had 14,000 stores selling everything from coffee and meat to dairy and produce. They pulled in $400 million in sales and made $10 million in profit. They were twice the size of Sears and 4 times bigger than Kroger. In 1930, they had 16,000 stores and $2.9 billion in sales, which would be around $50 billion today. They controlled 25% of the grocery market in areas they served. 1 in every 10 grocery dollars went to A&P. Behind it all were the Hartford brothers, George and John. They didn't waste a penny. With operating margins as low as 2.2%, they demanded tight cost control. In 1926, they pushed for better efficiency, and sales jumped 32% that year alone. Their headquarters sat in the massive Gray Bar building next to Grand Central in New York. They also expanded into Canada in 1927, opening 200 stores there by 1929. When the Great Depression hit, A&P didn't fall apart like others. They didn't have debt, and their prices were already low. Between 1929 and 1932, while others collapsed, A&P earned $110 million after taxes. Families relied on them, and their stores became essential. But their success upset smaller grocers who couldn't compete. In 1935, lawmakers tried to pass taxes aimed at A&P's large-scale model, but the attempt failed. A law came in 1936 to block big discounts, but A&P managed to keep its edge. By 1938, they were running 12,000 stores with 100,000 employees. Brands like On Page and 8 O'Clock Coffee became everyday names, but cracks started to form. During the 1940s, World War II caused shortages and inflation. A&P's low-price model didn't handle that well. In 1949, the government sued them for acting like a monopoly. They were forced to break off parts of their operation by 1953. This hurt their reputation and drained money. The 1950s and 60s were even harder. A&P stuck to its small, cramped city stores, while companies like Safeway and Kroger opened big, shiny supermarkets with parking for suburban families. A&P had 10,000 stores in 1950, but by 1965, that number fell to 8,000. Their profits stayed flat, their way of managing from the top didn't work anymore. People wanted local products, but A&P offered the same thing everywhere. And their private brands, once a hit, now look boring next to flashy national names. In the 1970s, A&P's decline became evident. Between 1970 and 1975, it closed 1,400 stores, reducing its count to 3,500. By 1974, sales had dropped to $6.4 billion, and it lost its leading position to Kroger. In 1972, A&P introduced WEO, Where Economy Originates Discount Stores. But the initiative failed due to poor execution and customer confusion. Inflation further eroded profits, and labor disputes with unions added to the challenges. In 1975, A&P reported its first annual loss of $51 million. The 1980s and 1990s introduced competition from big box retailers. Walmart entered the grocery sector in 1988, leveraging large stores and low margins to attract customers. By 1991, Walmart had become America's largest retailer, with rapidly increasing grocery sales. Target also began offering groceries as a loss leader. By 1980, A&P had 1,200 stores, but couldn't compete on price or convenience. A&P's strong presence in the Northeast provided some insulation, as Walmart hadn't penetrated the fresh food market there. However, in 1981, A&P was acquired by Germany's Tengelmann Group for $290 million, aiming for a turnaround that didn't materialize. By 1990, store numbers had declined to 1,000, and sales stagnated at $10 billion. Efforts to modernize, like the 1986 Future Store prototypes, failed due to high costs and lukewarm customer response. Consumer preferences shifted in the 1990s towards specialty items. Chains like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's met the demand for organic and gourmet foods. A&P's focus on generic brands left it out of touch. A 1995 study indicated that 60% of shoppers prioritized fresh produce and specialty items, areas where A&P was lacking. The early 2000s were challenging. In 2003, A&P reported a $194 million loss, its worst ever. It closed its Kohl's Food Stores chain and exited Vermont and New Hampshire, reducing to 500 stores. That year, it sold 8 O'Clock Coffee for $17 million. The brand was later sold for $220 million in 2006. Specialty foods in the 1990s and experiential retail in the 2000s. Its supplier-centric approach failed to meet evolving consumer demands. That was sad and very hurting for the owners and the employees. Do you remember them? What are your views on this journey? Do let us know in the comment section below, and for more such amazing videos, do subscribe to our channel.